Alright, everybody, welcome back. This is gonna be my next video, obviously. Today I'm gonna be talking a little bit about Linux, more specifically the Linux distribution that I use. And maybe depending on the length of the video or when I feel too nervous to continue, I will end this video. And that's not what I was saying. See, it's already starting. Talking about Void Linux, which is the Linux distribution that I use. And if we get into it, depending on the time, I'm gonna do a little bit of configuration on my environment. Void Linux is it's its own independent distribution, meaning it's not a fork. For example, like Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a fork of Debian. It uses sorry guys. It uses repositories and it's built off of that, and it's just skin different. So anything that could run on Debian could pretty much run on Ubuntu. Void Linux is not like that. Although they do have an excellent package manager that allows you to compile packages from other distributions. I'm not advanced enough to get there yet, but hopefully one day, and maybe you guys will see that happen. So I am going to switch over to a screen share, and I'm just going to show you the home page. Alright, so this is Void Linux. By the way, Void Linux is installed very minimally, so if you have any questions about why something may look bad, sound bad, or anything, it's because I set it up for the bare minimum for audio and video to work. So that's why things may look bad, but we're going to actually work on that together and build up a system from here. So like I said, it's not a fork. It's its own distribution developed by thousands of people. It is rolling release, but it is stable. That's like a very big thing in the Linux distribution. In the Linux world. You have a rolling release, or you have stable releases or long-term releases. So anytime a package is built in Void Linux and it's tested, it is pushed to the main repositories, and I could update at any time. There is no set schedule on updates like there would be with Windows or something. And by having it this way, for those of you who don't know Linux, I could just keep updating my computer. I could update my computer as many times as I want, and it might not even change, or I could get a bunch of changes from packages that were pushed into the new repositories. So we also have the init system. This is a big thing in the Linux world. You got systemd and non-systemd. I'm not going to get into it. Maybe eventually when I learn more and you guys learn more. So there's another big thing with C libraries. I can tell you the most common is GNU or GNU. And then there's the Musel C. I believe Musel C is more current, it's updated, and being that it's not too supported yet. So there's ways to get it supported, but for my purposes and the programs I use, it's just not worth it. This is the package manager I talked about. It's custom made by the people who made Void Linux, and this is an additional package installer which actually builds stuff from scratch. And they have a giant repository that I'm actually going to make heavy use of when I actually start building my system up. It's one of the things that I told myself that I'm going to learn using this system is to build and compile software myself. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to learn how to create templates and actually make software available to Void Linux that's either not there or outdated or anything. Pretty much, that's one of my main learning objectives with this channel and stuff like that. So now that you've heard my shallow knowledge on Void Linux, I kind of want to spend a little time just setting up my system. So right now I am actually using a window manager called TWM. It's a stacking window manager. As you can tell, I could open up stuff and like it just stacks on top of each other. It's very old. I believe it's from the 80s. And although you can do some really cool things and customize this to have like bars and stuff like that, I'm not at that level. But at the same time, I am not in a rush to actually set those things up because I have a lot to learn. A lot of stuff in when it comes to the window manager and the X server, which is what it allows me to display these windows and stuff. It's massive. There's so much to learn. There's so much you can do. As you can tell already, I have no bars. I have no way of switching like actual windows or desktops, kind of virtual desktops like Windows does. Eventually, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to have a window manager that does that. But I don't know which one it's going to be yet. I usually have one that I'm going to aptly name Herbs because it's in German, and anybody who knows or watches this that knows about Linux, you'll probably know what it is. I'll think about doing a link in the description of what I usually use, or I'll do another video on it. But after I've been playing around and messing around with like a very minimum system, I'm kind of like contemplating what I want to do and how I want to expand this system and how I'm going to build it. So that's probably going to be something that we're going to go over. But for the meantime, I do use terminals, and the X server is in charge of displaying everything that you see on the screen. So I can actually customize that. Like right now, to me, this terminal right here is very blinding. The font doesn't look too well, and by the end of the video, hopefully I have this changed. By no means am I don't know a lot about Linux despite how long I've been using it. And that's like in my intro video, that's why I said these videos are going to hold me accountable to what I feel I need to learn to continue my Linux journey. And that starts with a lot of the command line. I want to learn a lot of bash scripting and just basic stuff that could help me build a nice environment. And then from there on, I'll probably go into like actual programming and designing stuff that I feel suits that mindset. So with that being said, some of this stuff I've already done, but now I'm going to do it again. And There is a lot of typing involved, so with that, I'm actually going to open up my old dot files. For those of you who are new to Linux, dot files are files that start with a dot, and they're usually in your system, like hidden, so everything. A lot of these dot files are actually configuration files that programs in your computer, on your computer, use to quote unquote configure and change stuff. So the X server, like I was saying, is actually controlled through X resources. This file will allow me to change the colors and the font of whatever is displayed using the X server. So this I'm actually going to copy, and then I am going to create a file because I don't think I have one. Do I have Vim? I do. That's interesting that I have Vim. So Vim is a command line text editor, and it is my favorite text editor, even though I have no idea how to use it. It's what you call a modal text editor, so it has like commands. It's command based. It's all keyboard because it's in the terminal, obviously. Right now, I could press any buttons and nothing would be typing in my editor. I have to actually press I to type into it. And then I'm just going to copy this in there. On my terminal, I believe I could use Control-Shift-V. No, I can't. Like, see, that's some interesting stuff there. For me, I have to press Shift-Insert to copy what I have typed. To paste what I've copied. So with that being that, I do not have this monoid font installed right now. It is actually what I was actually going to do first, but I just decided to record the video because I knew if I didn't do it, if I didn't start the video, I wouldn't do it. So we're going to actually open up another tab in GitHub. I'm going to do node fonts. These are fonts that support ligatures and icons. And one of my favorite ones is monoid. I might change it again eventually, but for the sake of actually having it and getting this set up, because it looks horrible to my eyes, I am just gonna deal with it. So CD into my downloads folder. Eventually I'm gonna do little videos of stuff I learned on the command line. I don't know if I'm gonna make those shorts or not, but it's gonna happen. So we're gonna unzip this if I have this program, which I do not. So what you're gonna see now is actually the package manager that Void Linux uses, and I'm gonna install a program called unzip. I could press tab because I have another program installed called bash completion, and it allows me to just press tab like you would in a text editor by reading all the packages in the repositories. So now, using the command line, I could unzip this package, clear, and these are all the fonts inside that folder. all I can tell you is I don't know why. There's just different faces to it: bold, italic, wet knob, Windows compatible. There's a bunch. I don't get it, but not all of it at least. And as I said before I started this video, I was going to do the fonts, so I already installed what I use to manage fonts. And this is another thing right here. Like I said, it's a window manager. Since I don't have a program to open up software, I actually have to type everything in a terminal. Like, for example, on my other screen over here, which I'm gonna drag over real quick, right here, this little dot right here. Oh, you actually don't see when I start moving it on my screen. But this little thing right here, if I click it, it actually is Chrome running in a terminal. And if I cancel this process, Chrome will cancel. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to slide that back over there. But for the font, I'm going to go to downloads, and we're just going to install all of these. And it's going to refresh and do everything that I need it to do. Google Fonts, that's new. I didn't see that before. Yeah, I don't have to do anything else. I could go back here. I could cancel this. And then there's a command you have to type to actually load in that file. Normally you would source it, but since it's actually messing with the X server, there's a different method. It's an actual program, and I believe it's xrdb dash merge, and what I'm merging is the file that I just wrote, which I don't know why it's not auto completing, probably because the actual xrbd command doesn't, I don't know. Oh, I'm in the downloads folder, that's why. So we're gonna run that again. And now, hopefully, what's gonna happen is I'm going to kill this window. And when I open another one, boom. Still ugly, but definitely a lot better. Yeah, so much better. Let's see. Yeah, that's so much better. I don't know why it feels that big. I'm pretty sure 11 is not that big. So we're just gonna change it real quick. And this is gonna be the last thing I do. And this is another feature of Tom's Window Manager, TWM, or Timeless Window Manager, which is what it's called now because it's so old. If I use my mouse, that's how I pretty much control everything. I know I could add new programs here, but honestly, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be using TWM, so I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, yeah, so the font looks a lot better. Oh yeah, so much better. Just amazing. Alright, so the reason why I did that was just because I'm going to be using the terminal a lot more for the next upcoming videos, which I am actually just recording in rapid succession right now. While I have time and the energy and the motivation. I don't think it's gonna allow me to. I'm not gonna run out of ideas because I'm just gonna be recording everything I do in segments. And if I don't record a video and I change something, hopefully I could go back in my memory and in an upcoming video explain what I did. Excuse me. So I already know for my next video, I'm going to be installing. So you saw me use Vim, but Vim is a very complex, non-beginner friendly text editor. So what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be setting up Lunar Vim. It's based on NeoVim, which NeoVim is a rewrite of regular Vim, but it's configured with Lua, which eventually you're probably on this channel going to see me learn Lua so that I don't have to use something like this, although it's super nice and amazing. One of the main reasons why I choose Linux and software like this is because you get the power to choose and design anything you want, and I want to be able to do that eventually, and I don't want to have to rely on what the Linux community will call bloat. But eventually mine would probably turn out just like this. I just would skim it down so not everything that I don't understand or don't use is in here. And as you already know, like I said in my intro, I'm not going to be editing these videos. And honestly, I don't even think I'm going to be using thumbnails that much. And if I do, it's just probably going to be a clip from this video with probably like a word or something of what I'm doing. It's just how I'm going to do things. Maximize my efficiency, because if I feel as though if I get too much into trying to do too much to make it big, I'm not gonna put out what I need to put out, and I'm not gonna like record as honestly as I feel like I am now. Mistakes and all, this is a journey of learning for me, and I hope to grow from this. So I am gonna actually sign off of this video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.